Hey everyone, this is Mike, and today I'd like to talk to you about this amazing new feature in ChatGPT that lets you create your own GPTs. But before I do that, I want to remind you all that I've released an early bird sign up for my master class on eliminating jobs to be done interviews with AI. And what that master class does is it lets you see kind of what's going on in these prompts, which are extensive. So I walk you through step by step how they get constructed, and I give you the prompts. And why is that important? Because you may want to create your own prompts for something else, and I think you all need to know what it takes to do that. Now, if you sign up early, you get early access, immediate access, and you'll also get a 50% discount. And one of the things that's going to be added to that course very shortly is what we're talking about today. I will be providing links to these GPTs that you can use in lieu of cutting and pasting large streams of text. So let's get back to the topic at hand. ChatGPT just released this ability to create your own GPTs. They've allowed you to do fine tuning through their API in the past, and I haven't really explored that too much. But this appears to be an extension of that capability into the ChatGPT client. And what it allows us to do is essentially inject our prompts, our instructions into this model, and we can continue to build in new instructions and train it on one side and then preview the outputs on the other side. The bad news for people is that you're not going to be able to see the prompts if that's what you want. If you just want the outputs, this is great news. So we're able to keep them private. We're able to share a link, which is what I'm going to be doing with my masterclass students. And then ultimately, you can also make it public. Today, if you make it public, it's free. I believe by the end of the month, they're going to provide a marketplace that allows you to monetize it, which is unfortunately for everybody, that's what I'm going to do. But fortunately, it won't be anywhere near as expensive as the masterclass because it'll just be simple use and you won't actually get access to the prompts. So let's take a look at one of the prompts that I've done. I've done a bunch of them. This one keeps getting fine-tuned. It's the job map version. So let's just talk about what we're able to do here. I am asked, I'm providing some instruction on what to input: the job, the context, the end user. I like to just do, job colon what the job is, end user colon what the end user is, and that just comes from my prompting and my variables. However, it will also do natural language, and I've had to do some tweaks to perfect that because it needs to parse things out of a natural language statement. So we're going to do a little experimentation here. The first thing I'm going to do is show you one of the things that it features is called a conversation starter. I can add a whole bunch of them. I've only got one here right now, but this conversation starter is essentially the inputs that you need to generate a job map. So I'm just going to click on it. It should give us a list of the variables that we're inputting, and then it'll do the map. So one of the things you'll see is it's obviously it's parsing these out properly because I'm providing them in a structured format. So it's using a context for milk production. One of the things that I found when I was doing this earlier was that if I didn't use a context like that, productivity of a dairy herd could be just reproduction. So I would occasionally get a job map about reproduction as opposed to milk production. So that's why that context is in here, and it's kind of important. Now, the next thing that so let me show you how you can input this yourself first. And let's do, job maintaining, or let's do a job of, maintaining and equestrian facility. The context. Let's add a context in here. And when I was generating contexts, it came up, and this is an older version of the prompt. It came up with things like veterinary clinic or therapeutic riding center. So let's input at a therapeutic riding center. The end user is going to be a facility manager. My typing is horrible. And we'll set the fidelity to low, and it should default the rest of the prompts or the rest of the inputs. Let's see what we get. It should spit back out the variables that I input. It may show us defaults for the others. Let's see what it does this time. Okay. So it generates a decent job map. We're doing a low fidelity, so it's only going to do like 10 or 12. Yeah. Okay, so that's inputting a structured input, using a structured input. Let's try using a natural language input. So let's just say generate a map of a DIYer painting a room in a residential home with low fidelity. Use just low fidelity. Let's see what it comes up with here. It got a little creative with that context, but it did parse it out fairly well. But you can see where this is going, right? Instead of cutting and pasting these long prompts that I provide in the masterclass, for example, you just get access to a GPT that lets you do what you need to do. One of the things that I'm going to experiment with, probably after I record this, is whether I can generate a map and also the success metrics for each step in one GPT. If I can do that, that would be pretty powerful. And then I'd obviously start adding other things in. There is a limit on the instructions. Unfortunately, that limit is far less than my success metric instruction. But what I found is that if you just put a basic instruction in, you can take the rest of those instructions and paste them in this conversational GPT builder, and it will build out the rules using that conversation. So it's pretty powerful stuff. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. Stay tuned for more. It's going to be interesting really, really soon.